What's really good, my people, man? No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. A little emergency pod. Dame Lillard finally being moved, and he's going to Milwaukee, Wisconsin to join Giannis Antetokounmpo in the Bucks. Big Nick the Quick. Figured we hop on real quick.
Again,
Give
can't get away from the mic.
Give a few mins on Dame going to Milwaukee. I'll set the table for you. We have been begging and pleading for Milwaukee to get Giannis Antetokounmpo some help. He's not just since they won the title, which was very fortunate. A lot of things bounced your way to win the title. You have absolutely done nothing to help him out to add to that roster since you got Drew Holiday, Drew. And when you did make a move to help Giannis, it got you a title. Why haven't you made a move since then? They now do make a move. Dame Lillard. Let me get the whole deal up here.
And anybody who's been listening to us for a while has heard us, and I know especially I've been all over it, man. Milwaukee, we talk about how complacent the Bucks have been, how they haven't had anybody since Drew, how they seem to have. You said it. I think you said it best. It's like they're a small market team, won a title, and said, "Hey, we're good." Right? Like we've done everything we need to do here. We're just going to keep this thing rolling. So we have been begging for them to make a move. And all these players that have come up over the last couple of years, starting back with Harden, the initial Harden, before he got moved to Brooklyn, I was saying, why are they not all over Houston for this deal? Or at the time when he went to Philly after that, why are they not over Brooklyn for this deal, right? Add somebody, preferably a high volume guard that can take some pressure off Giannis and not make it so he has to be your number one option. And clearly they just did that. So
full trade. Bucks receive Dame Lillard. Blazers get Drew Holiday, DeAndre Ayton, Toumani Camara, 2029 first Bucks pick and a Bucks swap. Suns get Yusuf Nurkic, Nasir Little, Keon Johnson, Grayson Allen. Initial thoughts. I mean, I'm happy because number one, Dame has a real shot at the title. That loyalty shit, he talked it for long enough. Does that count for being fully loyal? If you do it to the absolute max?
He was loyal. Yeah, what else are you going to do?
Life? Blazer for life. You know what I'm saying? It was about as loyal as you can get.
He was essentially a Blazer for life.
Yeah. So, man, I'm fired up for the NBA season. Starts in 27 days. The NBA tips off. Media day coming soon. Dame said he's going to address the Portland Trailblazers fans. But what do you think about the overall impact this is going to have? On the league, because now we know the Bucks picked up Dame, and the somewhat fraudulent Chris Middleton is somewhere smiling very big.
Weight off my shoulders.
He gets to just relax even more than he's been relaxing his entire life with Giannis.
Somewhat fraudulent. At least he's not just somewhat to you. You've added somewhat. He's not fully fraudulent anymore. Has he unfrauded himself?
No. But, I was being harsh, but he's somewhat a big time. He's one of the biggest frauds out there.
Somewhat a big time
fraud, Chris Middleton. Go look at the games. Go look at the numbers.
Yeah. Listen, man.
Not accountable. But talk to me, because we know this is a big win for Milwaukee. They get Dame, but they do lose Drew Holiday. They do lose Grayson Allen. They lost some depth. How does this impact the rest of the league? And let's talk about Phoenix.
Yeah, Milwaukee rolls the same team. Look, I get it. I love Drew Holiday. I like what Grayson Allen brings. Depth is important in the NBA. Guys who can play are important. Obviously, Drew's a top-line starter. Grayson Allen is a 15, 20-minute depth type guy who can do some things, play some defense. Definitely gives you some character and identity. And that was something I'd always asked for the Bucks, is that you need to have a tough guy in there. And I guess Grayson kind of gives you that or plays that role. But look, forget all that. They added Dame Lillard, right? You moved off of Drew Holiday and Grayson Allen, and you brought in Dame Lillard. We knew exactly what this team would look like if they rolled the same guys out there this year. There was no shot that they were going to win the title. It was going to end in an earlier playoff exit than they would have liked. And we'd be looking at next summer of Giannis being like, well, what the hell am I doing here? Because another year went by where we haven't added anybody. And it was only going to get more difficult to make that type of trade during the season. I applaud the Milwaukee Bucks, man. I have been crying for them to get somebody else in there with Giannis. particularly a high-level scorer like Dame Lillard. I think with Giannis, like, Giannis can be your best player, but do you ultimately want him as like your bona fide number one option? Probably not, right? You want someone else who could take that pressure off, and that someone else isn't necessarily a Chris Middleton or a Drew Holiday. It needs to be a high level guy. When you talk about elite offensive weapons, Dame Lillard is near the top of the pile, right? You talk about shooting, his ability to handle the ball, his ability to run the offense for the team, his ability to flat out score, and also he's a proven playoff guy. Let's not forget, we have seen Dame Lillard in many a playoff series when the Blazers were relevant, do his thing, and absolutely show up in those big moments. This is not a guy who's going to have to get acclimated into playing, high-intensity basketball in Milwaukee or high-pressure basketball in Milwaukee. He's built for that. You're giving another guy that Giannis can – or not another guy, a guy that Giannis can give the ball to and allow him to do his thing. And think about all the different ways that this now allows you to use Giannis, right? We were talking earlier on the phone. That pick and roll is going to be unstoppable. What do? Right? Yeah. Do you blitz Dame up top to stop him from shooting, or do you put the double team on Giannis? Do you dare go under Dame Lillard on a screen? Like, there's so many different things that can happen from that. And just the fact that the guy is a ball handler, you're taking some ball handling out of Giannis's hands, man. We love Giannis. We love the fact that he can do just about everything except for outside shooting. But you don't need him to do everything. That's not a recipe for winning. So bring in another guy who's a top-of-the-line type player to pair with him. Show Giannis that you're serious about trying to contend in this window that you have with him, so that if you don't get it done this year, you can at least look at him and say, hey, man, we tried everything, right? Empty the tank on a bunch of first-round draft picks that won't mean anything. They're a decade away. I love it, man. For Phoenix, hey, we'll stop there. We'll get on Phoenix in a second. But, yeah, that's my Milwaukee on it.
Yeah, we talked about it. Also, this makes the Malik Beasley edition so much better.
Shut up, Malik.
Because he's going to be able to do a lot of different things for them in free roam.
Shoot.
I love the deal. Absolutely exactly what this – the deal's too late, damn near. Damn near 2 years too late.
Last year, yeah.
Could have been last year. This should have been year 2 for Dame and Giannis. It's funny that this happens when it does, because my guy Matt Moore, shout out Matt, HP Basketball Action Network, tweeted earlier today that I stopped paying attention to cap space and cap moves and cap flexibility when talking about deals, because at the end of the day, if a team really wants to get a deal done, they'll get it done.
Yep.
By any means necessary. And that's what I was saying about Dame to Milwaukee. You realize, you notice we haven't heard from Eder yet, right?
Yeah.
Remember, Eder's like, it's impossible.
It's impossible.
How could you do it? It's impossible. No, man.
Anything's possible.
Anything is possible.
The Suns traded for Brad Beal this summer. You know what I mean? While having multiple max guys on their roster.
Yeah,
so, yeah,
like, it's possible.
Yeah.
It can get done. It can be figured out. So I'm elated for Dame. I'm elated for the Eastern Conference, because this also beefs up the East a little more. It's a little more top heavy, but it's still more competitive. We still have a lot of questions on Phoenix, right? Can they mesh? Can they get rolling? This feels about as plug and play in Milwaukee with Dame pulling up and even Drew going out of town that it could be.
Right.
No one's going to be in Dame's way on the offensive end and handling the rock outside of course, working with Giannis on the offensive end. This is a home run for the Milwaukee Bucks. And like you said, at the end of the day, this deal now for ownership in the front office of the Milwaukee Bucks, you could look Giannis in the face now and say, hey, man, we paid your boy Middleton, probably overpaid him. Went and got Dame, added Malik.
We gave it a real shot. For years.
Yo, we have 2 roster spots on the team.
We made your brother a millionaire.
There's 3 Antetokounmpos on the roster. Only one can play.
Oh, do they get Kostas? Kostas was there. Yeah. Kostas is there. Yeah. They're making all y'all rich.
Bro, we're paying your brother millions of dollars. They're absolute zero on the roster.
Thanasis literally goes out there, runs around, and exudes energy. That's about it.
Milwaukee probably produces Thanasis podcast. Like, they probably got the media team doing that. I'm pretty sure he has a podcast.
Oh yeah, media team's 100%.
Media team is like producing his shit. So like,
he's got a videographer, everything. Yeah, it's great.
If they don't win another title the next 2-3 years, and Giannis then does leave, or Giannis stays, whatever happens now, they could look him in the face and say, hey, we gave it a real shot. We went and got Dame. We unloaded the clip. And the new look Milwaukee Bucks are solid. Let me give you the roster now. Dame Lillard, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Chris Middleton, Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis, Malik Beasley, Pat Connaughton, Jay Crowder.
It's a good 9.
I mean,
it's a solid playoff. It's a solid.
That is
that's a solid playoff top 9. I'll take it.
Of course, you'll take it.
And to add on to your point about being able to look at him, you also will quiet down the noise around the team, right? Like you don't have the national media saying like, "Oh, what are the Bucks doing with them?" and all that. It just quiets down the noise as far as any negativity. So absolutely, but yeah, you lose. I love the hush money comment. Absolutely, hush
it's amazing.
money.
That's
it's hush money you can spend.
Yeah.
I love it. I'll take it. Look, man, we knew where this team was going as presently constructed. It was great when they won the title, but it was another year older. I love Jrue Holiday, but I don't necessarily see him aging gracefully.
Well, just offensively, he's
limited.
He's limited. Yeah,
he's limited. Exactly. And he gives you 20, but it's not the same as Dame Lillard. It's not like, hey,
it's not even close.
Take the ball. Take the ball and just carry us. Like Dame Lillard can carry you through multiple playoff victories. And again, the different things that you can do with Giannis and Dame. Giannis has never played with a player anywhere near the caliber of Dame with the ball in their hands. Not even close, right? Like never in his life, never in Greece, never anywhere in Milwaukee. I don't care where Giannis Antetokounmpo has played basketball. He's never played with someone that can take as much pressure off of him as Dame Lillard can. And I think that ultimately that's what you want to do for Giannis. So yes, you're able to sit there and say, hey man, we made moves. We emptied the tank to get a guy who's on the wrong side of 30 to pair with you. Like, yeah, absolutely, man. I love it. I just saw the odds came out now. Now all of a sudden Milwaukee is the title favorite in the NBA at plus 360, which I think is interesting. I'd probably right now lean towards fading them, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you always want to wait.
Yeah, but you just yeah, man. I love it. I absolutely love it. I don't care what. If you would have told me they had to put Middleton in this deal, I'd have been like, fine, great.
I wish they somehow could have packed up Middleton and get Jrue,
or just got rid of him.
No. I'm saying instead of Jrue packing up Middleton.
Well, now you move Middleton into his real role, which is a third scorer in the NBA.
Yes.
Right. So it looks a little different. If you talk about benefits, making Middleton the third scorer that he's always been meant to be is not the worst thing. And we've been talking about
good point.
If he's your third or fourth guy, hey.
If Middleton's your third option on offense, you have a whip.
You have a whip.
And
or
that's
fourth sometimes compared to Portis. So you're like, yeah.
And that's exactly what he would want to be doing. Like that's exactly the pressure threshold, the expectation threshold of Chris Middleton is a number 3. There's no doubt about it. And with the 1 and 2 being Giannis and Dame, it's absolutely love it.
It's a dope comment, by the way. I don't know if you saw that one on there, but yeah, for sure, man. I mean, it puts Middleton into his proper role, which is, again, you're relieving pressure off of the big guys on your roster. You're relieving pressure off of Giannis. You're relieving pressure off of Chris Middleton. And you're putting these guys in the best roles for them. I love it, man. I absolutely love this deal. I wanted Milwaukee to make a deal so bad. I love it, man.
Yeah,
I have zero issues with this. I saw someone say that they got marginally better by trading by essentially swapping out Holiday and Dame. And I don't think that could be anything further from the truth. This is a move about playoff basketball. That's it. It's about
this is about guys like Nick Nurse not being able to set up walls on people because now he has to worry about Dame getting buckets.
Yeah,
this is a positive in so many.
Nick Nurse is in Philly now, isn't he?
Yeah, Nick Nurse is in Philadelphia.
Man,
he's slowed up Giannis before.
Yes.
So
he was the original slow upper.
Yes,
I love it, man. So this is an awesome deal. Also, NBA doesn't stop, man. NBA been quiet. I was just thinking today, I was like, man, should we even talk NBA this morning? I was like, nah, it's been quiet.
Also, hopefully Milwaukee's not done. Yeah, maybe they add some shit in the middle of the year, some more shooting, guys that want to get out of town. This is where it gets really interesting because Boston is still loaded. Man, this just makes everything a lot more interesting. I'm really excited to see where it goes. So shout out Dame Lillard. My guy Kazim tweeted, "I'm just happy we get to watch Dame on the Eastern slot on the Eastern early time slot."
Dame on the especially for you. Dame on those late ass games. Yeah, those like Denver Portland games at fucking 11:30 were rough.
Yeah,
Man,
man.
I think, and again, it shifts so much more power to the East again. Like the Eastern Conference is where it's at. Obviously, I still think Boston's my top team in the East, but man, I'm elated because I really like Giannis. I really like the Bucks,
Yeah, I like
and I
Dame.
wanted them to do well, and I love Dame, and I just feel like
Well,
and
if you
Dame,
think
and like
about
Giannis never played with anybody like this. Dame has never played with anybody like Giannis. Like Dame has never played with another guy of that caliber.
if you think about what Dame has been dealing with the last, I would say last like 3 seasons, right?
Yeah.
The year after they get swept out of the Western Conference Finals, he's been dealing with essentially a season. Listen, I don't know this for a fact, but he basically sat the season out.
Yes, he did.
He was injured, sure.
He dropped that freestyle on the plane, and then I don't think I ever saw him again.
Yeah, exactly. So like there's been a lot of things going on where like, man, he's got to get out of there because this. And then he came up, and then he was like, all right, I'm going to come back this year. Talking about last year, I'm just going to remind everybody what time it is. And he was absolutely scorching. He was killing people when he wanted to on offense last year in Phoenix or in Portland. So it's very, very crazy. Shout out the Milwaukee Bucks for getting that done because you now have done right by your superstar, generational superstar in Giannis Antetokounmpo, and you could look at him in the face now and say, "Hey, we tried to get it done. We tried to get you a couple more rings here. No matter what happens now in Milwaukee, they've done what they needed to do." Let's move over to
who's the coach over there? Is it Adrian Griffin?
Who, the GM?
No, the coach.
I believe it is Adrian Griffin.
Adrian Griffin, yeah. Man.
So yeah, it's yeah, man, it's great.
Eastern Conference is going to be great.
Yeah, man.
Any losers on this deal for you, or you think it's good all around? The rest of the Eastern Conference.
I actually think it's good all around because it's going to allow Portland to. Because now, look, remember we were talking about Portland and them essentially needing to come, like Dame needing to come off Portland. Portland needs to come fully off Dame and Nurkic and reset that whole thing too. Now they have Scoot in the building. He's the clear number one guy now for them.
And your boy, your man's Simmons.
Who? Oh,
Simons.
yeah, Anthony Simons. Absolute,
every year.
Absolute bucket shooter, knockdown.
Report just came out that Philly's looking to try to get Drew from Portland, which
Drew Holiday to Philly would be nice.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind that.
Does it come Holiday and Maxey?
Holiday Maxey is nice.
Hey, Maxey the program. Fuck with anybody talking about. I love Maxey.
Dude, Maxey's amazing.
I love Maxey.
So yeah. But let's talk about Phoenix.
Love it.
Because go ahead.
I mean, there was one issue with the Phoenix Suns last year. It was depth, health. Once they lost one person that mattered, there was absolutely no one left on that roster to play basketball. So when you look at the fact that they bring in Brad Beal this offseason, they're very, 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 very top heavy, but had absolutely nobody left. So moving Aiden for 4 guys who will be able to play. Kevin O'Connor called them innings eaters on Twitter. I think that's a great way to put it. They needed inning eaters, and these aren't bad players. Like they got Nurkic is a good player, right? Like these guys can play. They'll be able to get you some minutes. Little's a good energy guy, whatever. But the biggest thing that they're going to do is they will fill out minutes on your roster and add depth. You didn't really need Aiden. You weren't going to run any plays for him this year. You really didn't run plays for him to begin with.
Yeah, Aiden was never seeing the rock.
Yeah, you weren't running any plays for him this year. And defensively, it's not like he was out there stopping Jokic, right? So it's kind of really like.
So let me ask you this. So then what if Aiden wasn't getting touches? I mean, Jurgic's not getting touches. What is Jurgic?
Well, you need a big, but you don't need one that you're paying $30 million to who you don't like.
Well, that's the big win to come out to get out of that deal from Aiden.
And they didn't like him. They have not liked him for a few years. They benched him in a game 7, did not want to sign him to his contract, told him to go out and find another deal, which he did with the Pacers. Then they end up matching that deal. They didn't want him there. He didn't want to be there, but they're like, we're not going to let him go for nothing. So they re-signed him. Now you get off of him a player that you don't really need. And again, he doesn't solve your biggest problem in the Western Conference, which is stopping Nikola Jokic. So why pay him $30 million if he's just
nobody can do that?
Yeah, exactly. Nobody's going to do that. So why not just get 4 guys who can play and kind of just go from there, man? I love that deal. They needed depth. So, I mean, look, Nurkic plays. Grayson Allen plays. Nasir Little plays.
Well, remember we were worried about how deep they were going to be. Like, who are they going to fill this roster out with?
Yeah, nobody.
They eventually filled it out with Grayson Allen, Hey man, say what you want. Bol. Bismack is still there. They got Watanabe. They got Nasir Little. They now have Keon Johnson. They now have Terrence Ross, who was already there. But they have Watanabe as well.
Yeah.
And they have TJ Warren, who you never know. You never know who you never know what TJ might wake up.
Maybe if you lock him up in a hotel for 6 months, he's a great player. But I told you, TJ Warren must have the most hectic personal life in the world. He must. It must be just heat for TJ Warren as soon as he leaves the arena. Because, well, man, he took him away from all that. He looked like fucking Iverson.
He looked like TJ Warren in the bubble looked like Bean, bro.
Yeah,
he was incredible. So
listen, man, he was able to turn his phone off. He was able to do his thing. So yeah, no, listen, you added 3 of those guys will play a good amount of minutes. Keon is kind of like the wild card, but 3 out of those 4 guys are playing minutes and have a role on your team, and that is 100% what you needed. You did not need another superstar. Like, you got 3 high volume scorers there. You needed 4 guys that can give you minutes in case inevitably when one of those guys gets hurt, because they will. You needed guys who have minutes. You need guys to carry you down the stretch. KD is 32, 33. Brad Beal's not getting young. I get Booker is still young, but these guys are on the wrong side of 30. And you saw what happened last year. Last year, you had nothing. Like, you literally emptied the clip and had nobody left to play for you once you had all those injuries. So, yeah, I love it.
Milwaukee Bucks plus 165 to win the East now. Boston Celtics plus 225. Philly plus 260. And the Cleveland Cavaliers are plus 1,000 in the 4th slot.
Wait, so they're
Milwaukee
plus 360 to win the title, but plus 165 to win the East?
I got plus. I'm looking at DraftKings right now. Plus 390 to win the title. Denver plus 475. Boston plus 500. Phoenix plus 600.
I think they're going to win the East. I would just take the 390 on winning the title over winning the East. But
yeah, 165 to win the East is nasty.
That's nasty. Fuck, why would? Yeah,
that's nasty.
That's filthy. I'm not touching that. What's Boston? So that changed Boston's odds, right? So
yeah, Boston's plus 225.
See, like, I'd rather take that.
Let's look at this roster or the schedule real quick for Milwaukee. Let's see what the first game is. Preseason, regular season. First game is against Philly in Milwaukee, October 26th. Woo! 3 game. They opened 3 at home. Philly, Atlanta, Miami.
All prime time. Oh yeah, Jimmy's sick.
But on the eve before,
can we talk the Miami thing real quick? And let's just be honest. Miami did not have enough to make this deal. If I'm Portland and I'm looking at first, I don't want any picks from the Heat. You're always fucking good. You're never going to be bad enough to where those picks are going to matter to me. Whereas you can look at Milwaukee and say, hey, 7 years from now, they might suck, right? Giannis could be retired or in LA or wherever. He probably won't be on that roster, and that team could suck. You can't bank on the Heat sucking. So, I mean, and do you want Hero? Not really, right? Do you want Duncan Robinson? Not really, right? Like, these guys look good in Miami uniforms. I don't necessarily want those guys, right? So I think that I always thought it was funny that everybody thought he was going to end up on Miami just because he wanted to be there, because I just don't think he had the leverage that some of these guys have. He's in the middle of a deal. What are you going to do? Not show up? You know what I mean? Like, he couldn't force his way to Miami like that. Dude, and they didn't send him to a shitty situation. They sent him to a good situation, so it's all good. Well, this whole, like, he didn't have a no trade clause or anything like that is what people were acting like.
Night before Thanksgiving, they go to the Boston Celtics, November 22nd. That's a great slot. And then as y'all know, I work for MSG. He's at the Garden back-to-back games, December 23rd and December 25th, Christmas Day. I'm going to try to catch that Saturday, December 23rd, and then go home for Christmas, of course. But NBA is here, ladies and gentlemen.
Get it.
Back, locked and loaded. For Big Nick the Quick, I'm your host, Sean Little. I'm glad y'all came through. Dame Lillard is now a Milwaukee Buck. You should be, hey, Nick, you go ahead and get your schedule out. You should be driving up to Milwaukee at least once or twice in the basketball season coming from Chicago. I know you won't, because we can't get you to get into the city.
I like Milwaukee. But it's a good time. I'll wait till they come to the Bulls.
I would try to organize something, but y'all not gonna go, so I'm not doing that shit. For Big Nick the Quick.
Wait. Remember who flew to Vegas? Oh,
Yeah, true. No, it's true.
Always talking about I won't go. I won't. Next person to catch a flight.
It's true. It's true.
I'm off the hook.
For Big Nick the Quick, I'm your host, Sean Little. No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago, Dame to Milwaukee, done and dusted.